Sometimes, the fat in your body wraps around your internal organs, such as the liver, pancreas, and kidneys, and it is dangerous for your health. Such fat is called visceral fat or internal fat. In some cases, fat even enters internal organs, and it becomes an even greater threat to your health. For example, when fat enters the liver, it causes liver disease that gradually destroys the liver over time. When you look at the body, you cannot directly see visceral fat because it is hidden deep inside, yet you can observe the fat under the skin, which is known as subcutaneous fat. Although subcutaneous fat is undesirable when excessive, it is less harmful compared to visceral fat. A larger, round belly, even if the hands and legs remain thin, can indicate an increased amount of visceral fat. A very reliable method to estimate excess visceral fat is by checking your waist circumference. If it exceeds 102 centimeters or 40 inches for men, and more than 88 centimeters or 35 inches for women, there is a high probability of having excess visceral fat. Excess visceral fat directly worsens insulin sensitivity and significantly increases the risk of diabetes, because the inflammation caused by internal fat interferes with the effectiveness of insulin. Moreover, visceral fat releases free fatty acids into the blood, which accumulate in the liver and exert toxic effects. In other words, visceral fat is a silent killer, and it also diminishes your quality of life by causing low motivation, a lack of energy, and constant hunger and cravings. The main cause of visceral fat accumulation is foods that rapidly elevate the glucose level in the blood, because this surge leads to higher insulin levels. Insulin signals the body to store fat, especially in the belly. That is why foods with a high glycemic index, such as sugary drinks, white bread, pastries, and processed snacks, train your body to remain in fat storage mode. The second most important risk factor is a sedentary lifestyle, which increases visceral fat accumulation by 50%. Additionally, in men, testosterone naturally declines after 30, resulting in reduced muscle mass, a slowed metabolism, and increased fat storage around the abdomen. In women, estrogens gradually decrease, causing fat to redistribute from the hips and buttocks to the belly. This shift becomes more prominent after 40. I will tell you 10 practical tips which are scientifically backed to help minimize visceral fat. Start with 10, and the first one is the most interesting and important, so stay with me. 10. Cut out alcohol. Eliminate alcohol from your diet because it contains extra calories and promotes visceral fat accumulation. It also disrupts normal sleep patterns and testosterone levels. 9. Prioritize sleep. Ensure you get adequate sleep, since a lack of sleep increases cortisol levels and decreases testosterone, which in turn elevates appetite and contributes to abdominal fat buildup. 8. Walk daily. Aim to walk at least 8,000 steps per day, as this level of activity can burn around 300 calories. For some individuals, running may trigger hunger, making walking an optimal alternative. 7. Consume high-fiber foods. Include plenty of oats, legumes, fruits, and vegetables in your meals, as a high-fiber intake improves insulin sensitivity by around 20 to 30%. 6. Emphasize lean protein. Choose lean protein sources such as chicken, fish, turkey, tofu, and egg, along with Greek yogurt and cottage cheese, because they promote prolonged satiety, digest slowly, and help stabilize sugar levels. Starting meals with protein can minimize the absorption of glucose. 5. Combine foods wisely. If you opt to consume high glycemic index foods, pair them with fiber-rich options. For example, begin with non-starchy vegetables like broccoli, spinach, kale, lettuce, tomatoes, and cucumbers, and add legumes, nuts, seeds, or avocado to slow glucose absorption. 4. Incorporate low glycemic index foods. Opt for foods that do not cause rapid glucose spikes, such as barley with a glycemic index of 28, chickpeas, lentils, kidney beans, whole grain pasta, and most nuts with a glycemic index under 20. 3. Avoid high glycemic index foods. Steer clear of items that quickly raise glucose levels, such as sugary drinks, white bread, bakery products, pastries, and processed snacks. For instance, instant rice has a glycemic index of 92, mashed potatoes score 85, and instant noodles range between 70 and 75. 2. Engage in strength training. Incorporate strength training by scheduling 3 sessions per week that target all major muscles, using exercises like squats, deadlifts, push-ups, and rows. Building muscle increases your metabolic rate, burns more calories, enhances insulin sensitivity, and triggers the release of growth hormone and testosterone for improved fat breakdown. A typical regimen involves 3 to 4 sets per exercise with around 15 repetitions and a rest period of 30 to 60 seconds between sets. If you work out most days, aim for 30-minute sessions, but if you work out 3 times per week, 1-hour sessions are preferable. 1. Practice moderate-intensity aerobic exercise. Dedicate at least 40 minutes per day to aerobic exercise such as brisk walking, dancing, jogging, swimming, or cycling. This type of exercise boosts glucose uptake by muscles, reduces insulin levels, and leads to less fat storage in the abdomen. Studies have consistently shown that individuals who maintain regular physical activity experience 50% less risk of excessive visceral fat accumulation. There is no need to be perfect. Consistency is key, and occasional missteps are acceptable. Just get back on track the next day, and remember that those who succeed continuously strive to improve. If you appreciate this content, please give a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, as your support contributes to the channel's development. Thank you for your interest.